another live Q&A with BA. I got my man Praise here with me per usual. And look, don't be shy. If y'all got business questions, by all means, raise your hands or put your comments in the chat, and we're gonna get them answered. Okay. But Praise. So what topic, what route we going down today, bro? How you feeling? Number one, and secondly, what are we gonna talk about?
Man, first off, I'm feeling great. I'm grateful to be here once again. You know how it is. It's just fruitful conversations. And we just going to get into the offers. We're going to talk about the steps. We're going to talk about the title. And then also talk about the webinar and stuff like that. Because from the feedback that I got from the Purpose of Profits Challenge, it was super helpful on helping me take these next steps. So right now, I just want to start with the names of it and make sure I got the transformation in the title. So it's not like a book, like you guys said. So I wanted to change that up and really dig into that. And yeah, it was a week of work. It was a week of work. So yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. So yeah, let's do it. You ready, B?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. So we going for the first offer. I remember you said that it sounded like a book, so I wanted to change it, and I got a couple, but I'm gonna give you the one that I highlighted that I feel like is good, and it says, and this is for the offer. It says for aspiring business owners who feel stuck, it's not strategy, it's confidence. How do we feel about that? I got a
Mm.
couple others, but I just wanted to
We cooking though. So say that one more time.
for aspiring business owners who feel stuck, it's not strategy, it's confidence.
Mm. I like it because it flips a normal narrative on his head.
Yeah,
So normally people would say it's not confidence, it's
yeah,
strategy, right? So I like that because it's um it's a perspective shift.
yeah, 100%.
So that's catchy. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not strategy, it's confidence. It's like, yeah, you got all the strategy in the world, but because you lack the confidence to do XYZ, you're the world's best kept secret.
One,
Nobody cares how smart you are because they don't even know who you are.
one
Right?
hundred.
Yeah, that's strong.
Wait,
We,
time
we,
out, time out, time out, time out. We're not just gonna act like you didn't just say that. Can you go back and repeat what you just said? Talk about. Can you repeat that,
it,
please?
it
Repeat
does
that,
not matter how smart you are because nobody knows who you are.
man. And it's. I might take that for the tagline, but I was. I'm gonna have to take that for the tagline. I was gonna use for my tagline. Confidence isn't optional. It's your first business move.
That's strong.
Yeah, I
That's
was gonna
strong.
go that route because after I say, it's not strategy, it's confidence. The tagline gonna be like, it's not optional. That's your first move to even start it because everybody's thinking about strategy, and it's like you don't even have the confidence to start. So the strategy don't matter. So that's why I highlighted that one, and I had a few others, but that one just stuck with me because they're in a position where they're feeling stuck. Like, what do I do here? What move do I make next? And it's confidence. Like for me, even I remember you at the Purpose to Profits Challenge. You were like, "Hey, bro, just pick up the phone, start talking," and it was just that was a confidence thing. It wasn't a strategy. It wasn't nothing. You didn't give me 5 different steps. You said, "Bro, pick up the camera and just start talking." I was like, "That's it?" And you're like, "That's it." And then I did that, and mind you, to talk about the channel. Matter of fact, um, and this is when I was telling you about leaving the outcome up to God. So there's some
Mhm.
videos that I'll post, and I'm like, Lord, I don't even know if this is. I know how fire my words can
Right,
be,
right,
right?
right,
So
right.
I'm like, Lord, this don't feel as fire as I feel like it should, bro. The amount of
Yeah.
feedback I've been getting, like, I needed to hear this. This was perfect timing. People following me. Just it's constant feedback where I never thought I was going to get because I'm thinking, oh, I need to say a better phrase or a better sticky statement, and people are like, no, bro, like everything you posting is 100% what I'm needing. So that's why I was
Yeah.
like, yo, like what
Yeah.
you said, leaving the outcome up to God, bro. I've been leaving the outcomes up to Him, man, and it is
Yeah.
blowing my mind, bro.
Yeah. We control the inputs, he control the outcome. And so if we can really find solace in that,
Yeah,
and not just solace, but then find encouragement in that,
one hundred
then it
percent.
pushes us to do the things that we need to do, regardless of whether we feel like going, or regardless of whether or not we get the reaction or the response that we want. We understand that it's Ecclesiastes 11:6 that we got to sow our seed in the morning, get busy by afternoon, because you do not know from which endeavor you will profit, if not both. And so the key
Man,
though is every morning I got to sow my seed. If you ain't post your content, you ain't sowed your seed today. And I'm grateful, one, that you took the counsel in to immediate action. Secondly, bro, your channel is killing it. And I think that it's important we highlight that because you got what? How many followers right now?
147 right now. 140.
147 followers. And praises reels get more reach than mine do on many days. Now, there's a reason for that, but I'm just saying for encouragement, no matter how small the channel is, if you're putting out stuff that's pure of substance, then it's going to get reach. That's all I can tell you. And
100%.
you're a quintessential example of that. So big shout out to you, bro.
100%. And I appreciate that because it's funny. And this is just for other people who are listening, because I don't think, like, we study, but I there's a science to studying, right? So obviously, basketball and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and studying the greats is one of them. So as I was seeing, how you were doing your content, like, I got convicted because I'm like, okay, he's doing this every day and posting every day and posting the Bible, but doing what he got to do every day. And I'm like, I'm sitting here debating if I want to post 3 times a week. I was
Mhm.
like, we can't do that if we want to be to where he wants to get to and further. Like, so the Holy Spirit was like, yo, you got to post every day, like Monday through Friday. You rest Saturday, Sunday, but you better be posting those videos. So now when I'm going into my content creation with my social media manager and we're doing it, I'm like, yo, here's the layout, here's the outline, this is what we doing. Like, I'm coming more prepared because, mind you, I don't know the outcome. The Holy Spirit just giving me what I got to do for the input. And that's the majority of what the Holy Spirit does. He'll tell you the input of what you got to do. He won't really tell you the outcome of what's going to happen. So as soon as I was just doing the inputs, I'm like, the growth is crazy. Like, in
Yeah.
such a short amount of time too, because I started the page with 9 followers. I'm at 147 right now. I'm like, this is not even the beginning, if I'm being honest. This is just
Yeah.
a scratch of barely the surface. So I was studying how you were posting every day. I was studying, like, when you were like 3 lessons I learned in business. So now I got a video coming where it's like 3 lies that aspiring entrepreneurs believe. I'm like, and I was going through that and I'm just copying you because I'm like, I see your success framework. I'm going to copy the framework. When you said success is simple, I was studying. I'm like, so just do what he's doing. So I just started doing it. And I promise you, whoever's listening, success is simple, bro. Follow what he's telling y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Follow it. So yeah, back to the offer. So do you like that title? You like the title and the tagline for that? Is that a good one to stick with? I just wanted to make sure and that you like that, and that's a good one.
So give them to us one more time.
Okay. The title is For Aspiring Business Owners Who Feel Stuck. It's not strategy, it's confidence. And the tagline is confidence isn't optional. It's your first business move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Confidence isn't optional. It's your first business move.
Or I was going to steal what you said, where it's like nobody knows, how smart you are because they don't know who you are. So,
To me, that's stronger.
right.
Not because I said it, but because I mean,
It's
you know
stronger.
what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying. Not,
stronger.
not
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
just for
yeah.
everybody. Why? Not because I said it, but
Yeah.
it's stronger because it's more of a gut punch,
100%.
right?
One hundred percent.
It's because you got to think you're talking to smart people who just haven't been discovered.
Yeah.
So they can always think that they're too smart to take counsel until you hit them with the reality of, yeah, you smart, but nobody know you are. It's like, dang, right? So I think that that's important. I do like the title,
Okay.
but I think that's for better placement on the funnel. That's
Okay.
your headline on your funnel,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So as it pertains to your offer still needs to, for instance, um, one of the names of our offer is Purpose to Profits Accelerator,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna help you identify your purpose to get you to profits and accelerate that, right? Purpose to
Yeah.
Profits Accelerator program. My real estate offer, I've had several of them, but one of them was Keys to Freedom Mastermind.
Mm,
Keys to Freedom. It's a double entendre because it was keys because it was real estate, but it was also keys to freedom because I
mm,
taught them how to get financially free, right? So it's a double. So it explains the name of the program explains what I'm doing for them.
mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
So when you think about that, I would just consider that as you kind of working out and working through what you name your actual offer.
Okay.
And
So
right now, and
yeah.
right now, I think it's less important about. I mean, could be, but I wouldn't die on the hill because I didn't have a name for the offer yet. I would make sure that I got the components that I need within the offer to fix their problem
Okay.
as you work through figuring out whatever the name is.
100%. Okay.
That's important because once you identify what that is, then now you can go upstream to figure out what's the best mechanism or process flow to get them into the end result.
Okay.
But before you identify what the offer is, the pricing and the payoff, then you won't know upstream whether you should start with a webinar, a directed challenge, a webinar to book call, a whatever. You don't know what that mechanism needs to be yet to get them to the end result.
Got you. 100%. And I got all, and it's funny that you say that because I worked on all the 4 steps that I needed for the offer. So that's why like the name hasn't really been bothering me because I have my 4 steps already. And that's the next part that I was going to go through with you. So you ready to pivot to that?
Sure.
Let's do it. So my first step is called. I had to change this. I have to really play with the names, but the stage 1 or step 1 is called one of one: the power in being exactly who you are. How does that sound?
The power of one. Say that one more time.
It's one of one: the power in being exactly who you are.
Where is this placement?
This is the first stage, like the first step of the transformation.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just what it's called though.
The power of one.
The power in being exactly who you are, but it says one of one, so it's like to let them know, like, yeah, one
One
of
of
one.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
power in being exactly who you are. Because I had a few others where it was like uncovering you. I had another one where but it wasn't as direct. So I just wanted it to be direct, like this is the
Yeah.
power.
So I get it, right? So here's the
Yeah.
thing. It's almost like a title
Mm.
as opposed to a description.
Mm.
As an example, so the power of being one, the power of being who you are,
Yeah.
the power of being who you are is like a declarative statement that's like a title, right?
Mm.
The uncover your the uncover your true identity framework.
It's great.
Find yourself framework.
Mm. Okay.
See what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
It should describe the
Okay.
transformation, not a title of what it
I
is.
got you. Got you. Okay. I could
So week
definitely do
one, we're
that.
gonna take you through our find yourself framework,
Okay.
right? Now this becomes your IP, right? This now is your intellectual property. This system, this framework, this process is unique to Praise Academy and Praise Academy only.
100%. Okay, I could definitely do that. Now I'm getting it because at first I was like you said, trying to make it a title instead of what I'm giving them.
Yeah, it's not
You know
a
what
title, it's the transformation that they're getting.
Okay, 100%. I got you. So now, and that's perfect. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about what's in that step 1, or do you want to just go through the titles first? Go
Yeah,
through the
let's
name.
run through those first and then we'll double back.
Okay. So step 2 is built, not borrowed. But that was another title as well. So, I think I did more titles for these, but it was built, not borrowed. And I'm talking about like, how your confidence was the reason why your confidence feels borrowed. So that I was talking about like the difference of, for example, like putting yourself social media, or putting your identity in your job, or putting your identity in accolades and achievements, like all those things. I was talking about how your confidence should be built and not borrowed. And I was going through that. But yeah, so that's the title for that, built, not borrowed. So what would you suggest for that transformation?
Built, not borrowed. Um, that's closer. I think that's closer to a description than a title. That one I think are built not borrowed framework. Um, that could
Because
work.
I could play
You
with
can
that a
play
little
around
bit.
with that, but I think that you got something solid to work with on that one for sure.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Step 3, this is the one you told me to keep. And it was uprooting counterfeit confidence. So should I have the framework at the end of that, like uprooting counter confidence framework?
Uprooting counterfeit confidence system.
System. Okay.
You can play
Gotcha.
around with system frame, whatever one that seems yeah, I like system for some reason when I heard that one.
Bet. And I'm doing that because listen, if you say you'll buy it, that's all I need.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? That's
Yeah,
all I
fair,
need,
fair point.
And
And,
then
and
the
by the
last
way, for those of y'all that are joining, this is live business coaching. I'm actually helping Praise with building out his offer in his premium coaching business. So take notes. It costs a lot of money to normally get this kind of counsel. So y'all can thank Praise later.
man. Man, this is $1 million worth of game for real, for real. So and then the last one is the confidence blueprint. And I just like that because I just give 3 big steps to just have the blueprint of confidence to build you
That's
foundation.
strong. That's
Yeah.
strong.
So I
You
was like
got
the last.
blueprint, you got system, you got framework. That's the language that you want to have in your offer. You know what I mean? Because it all
Perfect.
speaks to transformation.
Okay. Got you. And that's what I'm grateful that you said that because when I was making these, it was more so like I was thinking more so of titles than the transformation that I was giving them. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I was
Because
thinking,
people
oh,
paying for transformation, everybody got titles.
man, everybody got titles for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're going to double back. So for stage 1, this is talking about I'm teaching them first. You gotta I covered 2 keys where I was like 2 crucial keys to obviously being who you are, which is understanding that you're one-on-one and believing that you're one-on-one. And I'm going through that, especially for aspiring business owners. I'm like, I have something in here called the mirror moment, where I'm like, really like look at yourself in the mirror, like really realize that there's nobody else who's going to be you. I think you said this actually. You were like, nobody can beat you at being you. And that's
Yeah.
literally what I put in there because I'm like, a lot of the times, and I heard Myron Golden say this, he was like, you have no competition in the marketplace. Like
Yeah.
there is none if you're being yourself. So
True.
that's what I was going to teach. But I'm like, first you have to understand that. Like if you don't understand that, then you're just going to go into the marketplace with your head cut off, right? Then I
Yeah.
was like,
Because
next you have to
people will never behave inconsistent with what they believe.
100%. And then that was my second point of a crucial key was believing that you're one of one. So I'm just like, because you can understand something and not believe it. Like a lot of people understand God, but they don't really believe God. So I'm just like, and that's a whole topic people don't want to have. So I'm like, for example, for being one of one, you not only do you have to understand, you have to believe it so you can behave consistently with that. Because
Mhm.
even with my posts of my content, like as I'm posting, it's helping me believe more that I'm an answer. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Facts.
posting more, I'm
Facts.
doing it more, I'm getting in that rhythm of preparing more. And I'm like, yo, I'm really the answer. Like, I
Hey,
don't care.
you know what's crazy, bro? So I just recorded a video yesterday to drop inside of our believers in business community, right? Which you're
Yeah,
a part of.
yeah.
And in that video, one of the things that I said was that faith is a prerequisite for obedience,
Mm.
but obedience is the catalyst to growing your faith.
What? That is
So
so.
I gotta believe enough to take the action and be obedient. But then through my obedience, then it increases my faith as God shows his faithfulness. So like that's this continuous flow of we have to have enough faith to obey, and through obedience, God increases our faith. It's the craziest thing when you really zoom out and look at it. But
Man,
but you're 100% correct. Like it's the more that we obey and do the thing, then we believe more. But most people won't get past the barrier of believing enough to do it in the first place.
yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's what it was for me. Because when you told me cut on the camera, and you know what's funny? Recently, I was talking to the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit was like, you have to stop overcomplicating Christianity. He was like, you're overcomplicating it so much, thinking you have 30 million tasks to do in a day, when a lot of people would be successful in their walk if they would just talk to me. He was like, you're acting as if I gave you 100 different things to do before you came to me, when all you have to do is talk. He was like, and my friend posted a video and he was like, we don't go to God as counselor. And I was just in my head like, yo, God is a counselor. Like, he's supposed to give us the advice. Like, he's supposed to tell us what to do. But half the time,
out there.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we so prideful. That's really what it is, because any sense that you're not willing to let go of is some form of pride. And I was just sitting there, and he was like, if you would just talk to me, you would know what to do. He was like, but you sitting here trying to study and take notes and do this and do that to make sure, yes, it enhances what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you're going to go crazy trying to finish these tasks instead of just talking to me, because some days you just got to do one move and I'll turn it all around. So
that's a fact.
I was like, all right, Lord. I was like, all right, let me just start following you. But that's what I'm saying with what you just said. Like, you just told me to cut on the camera. Like, I was just getting my hair cut, and the dude was like, yo, your video's crazy, bro. Like, I'm so grateful you're doing this, and you throwing God in there, and you doing this and that. And I'm just in my head, not even think he's going to talk about it. I'm just ready to get my hair cut, because I'm like, man, I've been wolfing a little bit. I'm like, bro, get this over with, right? He stopping me. Mind you, I'm telling him, like, yo, I got to be out at 2. Like, you know, like, I got some time. I got to go do some business work. And he's like, bro, but what you're doing so inspiring, and you inspired me. I can't wait to do business with you. And, and I'm just like, it's so crazy, because all I did was pick up the camera. That's all I did. Yeah. I didn't do 30 minutes.
And here's the thing, like, and this is important for everybody watching this. We never can afford to get to a point where we read and believe our own press, right? Because some days there's going to be good things written, and some things there's going to be not so good things written. 100%. So we can't afford to get too high or too low on either side of it, right? But at the very same time, we have to also have enough discernment to know that if we're suffering with imposter syndrome, we're suffering from taking action, that when these moments happen, that's God speaking through others to reaffirm in us, because we've been praying like, should I be doing this? Should I not? Well, I don't know. When the last time you heard him audibly, you know what I'm saying, pick up the phone and be like, hey, I just want to get back to you. I know you, right? Like, I'm not saying you can't audibly hear the voice of God. I know some do. But more often than not, he's going to send messages through people, right? And through mediums by which, for me, he talks to me a lot through YouTube videos. So I watch a lot of them, right? And in different ways, people in my sphere of influence that he know I would not take with a grain of salt and really believe because of who it's coming from. So he'll send certain things and affirmations and confirmations. I mean, just this week alone, the people who attended our Purpose to Profits Challenge last week, and all the people that are coming into our program as a result of the challenge, bro, the feedback that they've been given about how their life was transformed in 1 week of the challenge, the names that they dropped of who other programs they had gone through, and was like, it was unequivocally that they were supposed to join ours. It's been super, super gratifying, right? I don't even want to say humbling. It's been informing is what it's been, right? And I know it's God. I know that because we lack perspective, right? We lack perspective, because if all of us are positioned around this tree, we only see our side of it.
Yeah.
So I needed others who see a different part of the tree to be able to give us that feedback that we can't get ourselves. 100%. And it ain't for us to, David and I, to break our elbow to pat ourselves on the back, but it is for us to know, keep going. You know what I'm saying? It is enough to know that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I digress, but where do we leave off at?
We was talking about no, you're fine with that, because I needed even to piggyback a little bit before we get back on track to this. Me doing business, man. Listen, when the Lord gave me this vision, this dream, I was like, Lord, me in business? Like, you're joking. That's why, and people see us conversing right now, they don't know, like, I'm personally sitting in a miracle. Personally. Like, they just think I'm here and they're like, oh yeah, this is a great mentee. Like, no. This is like ordained from God himself, because I was like, Lord, how the heck am I supposed to build this? I was just wrestling with God last night, like, Lord, like, I didn't want to do business. I didn't expect myself to do business. I never even thought about going the business route. And now you have somebody helping me build what I didn't know I was going to build. I had no idea. I didn't know where I was going to go, what route I was going to take. I was going to just wing it, if I'm being honest, and just trial and error and success and like get feedback from failure. And then you come along and I'm like, Lord. And I was telling my barber this, and I was like, yo, I met my mentor because I took a step of faith. Like I just went out on a leap of faith and I took that step, and I didn't know this was going to be the end result. I didn't know God was going to put it on your heart to serve me in this beautiful way. And that's why I'm like, Lord, like, I'm like, I think this is big. I can't even wait till I start launching what he want me to launch, because I know his hand is all over it. Like his hand has been all over this. So yeah, that's just to piggyback off what you were saying, because you were confirmation for me that I was going down the right path. Like I told him last year in my unfaithfulness that I was going to talk to someone of your caliber, but I didn't know it was going to be you. I was just like, Lord, I'm going to talk to somebody who's been there, done that, and he got, in my language to God, I'm like, he got to have racks. Like, you got to have all of that. I'm like, he got to have racks. I'm like, Lord, you know I'm not focused about the money, but he better be making money. Like, we not playing, right? And then God brought you my way, and I'm like, look at the Lord. Like, specifically, I was like, Lord, he has to have these specific things. And God put you right in front of me. So that's why I'm even just piggybacking off of it, because, bro, it is a miracle, bro, because I didn't even know how I was going to build the business. I didn't know not one thing about business, nothing about selling, serving, offers, transfer, none of this. So now that I'm doing it, I'm like, yo, this is really God. But mind you, like, this is really faith, because I don't know the next step. Yeah. I'm just doing it, you know? Yeah. So when you was like, listen, you got to have enough faith to leave and then have that obedience to keep going, I'm like, that's where I'm at, because I don't know what's next. I don't know what next step you're going to tell me or what next step God wants me to take. So man, I just had to piggyback off that. 100%.
No, that's good, man, because everybody that's watching this needs to understand that you need to do everything like it's the only thing, because anything can change everything. Mm-hmm. You got to treat everything like it's the only thing, because anything can change everything. So Praise bought a $17, $47 ticket to come to one of our challenges, that after he randomly followed me one day on Instagram, came to the challenge, he outperformed everybody that week in the challenge at staying consistent, doing all the homework, everything that was required of him. And as a result of that, he won a scholarship to come into our Believers in Business community for a whole year on the house. So then he come in there and started showing out. So then I got to thinking, I said, well, I do these live business coachings every Thursday, which I made a commitment to YouTube World this year that I would do that. And I'm like, Praise got the stuff, he got the chops, he need the help. I know he want more time with me. You made that abundantly clear. And so I'm like, if he can come on and I coach him, he gets the benefit, but y'all get the other benefit, and then I get the benefit. So here we are. But it all started with me having a system in place to where when people follow me on Instagram, I send out a message to acknowledge them. So I sent out the message that I send out to everybody. So if you go follow me on Instagram, you will see what message I'm talking about. And then Praise responded, and then through our process, got him to take the next step, which was come to the challenge. And so all I'm saying is, we ain't that smart. He ain't that smart. I'm not that smart. And unfortunately, folks, you ain't that smart to have it all figured out. The only thing that we could ever do is the next thing we're supposed to do. Because if we treat everything like it's the only thing, then anything can change everything. If you don't take nothing away from this call today, take that away, that you need to focus on the next thing you're supposed to do. Stop trying to have it all figured out, because you never will. And watch this. And for some odd chance that you can figure it all out, it won't be what he had for you. Because he'd be like, oh, since you got that figured out, you go take care of that then. Because that's too little for me. I had something bigger for you, but because you had to know everything, then here, you can have that. I'll let you have that. I'll let you have your 3% raise at work. I'll let you have your annual bonus for your 6%. I'll let you have Yo, I'll let you have that. That's manageable for you to do. When you're ready for me to do something in your life at a big level, then come talk to me. But to play my game, you can't know everything. I give you one piece at a time. So if you got to have all the pieces, then you go play your own game.
That's so strong, bro. 100%. And that's a testament of what I'm saying right here. I just, like you said, did the next step possible. And the crazy part was, before we pivot back to the offer, I was just being honest. I think so many people are so scared to be honest. Man, I was texting you, the Holy Spirit was like, boy, you better tell him you don't know what you're doing. You better tell him you don't know what you're doing at all. Like, don't you try and sugarcoat and say, oh, I know a little bit of business. I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a deer in headlights. I just know the Lord gave me this vision and I don't know where to go. So I came to you. And the crazy part was, and don't get me wrong, obviously God moves through everything. People don't really realize how God really moves through everything. Because when you were talking about a system, I remember you were talking about in one of our former, I think it was probably our first call, and you were like, after God created the world and after he did his week of creation, he didn't create none after that. It was just a system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was your system that got me to here. And mind you, I just was like, Lord, I was telling you, I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but I just came to you. I seen you on Instagram and I like the system that you have in place. And I'm like, I was just going to copy whatever I got off of here. And you like, nah, I'm going to take it to the whole next level. Mind you, and at the time, y'all are having a challenge. So if that's not perfect timing from the Lord, I don't know what is. Because at that time, you were literally going into the challenge that next day we were about to start. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, but people are so caught up in and it's vulnerable, right? Telling somebody you don't have it figured out. It's vulnerable telling someone you don't know what you're doing. And that's what people lack. But I was talking to my pastor, and he was like, real Christianity is creating a real space of vulnerability so God can move. He was like, because we don't have that in the church. He's like, that's the problem. He's like, people come to church and they get church hurt. They meet people who misrepresented God. So they think everybody's a misrepresentative of him instead of just being vulnerable. Like, hey, like, I've been hurt and I don't have it all figured out, but I'm open enough to know. But we making people pay for the sins God already died for. Like, Jesus already died for it. I'm like, that's the problem. So me coming to you, I was just like being vulnerable. Like, hey man, like I got a vision. I know the Lord helped you execute your vision. I'm gonna just copy you. And now we here. So I'm just grateful to be here.
I mean, but that's also scripture, right? The humble shall be exalted, and exalted shall be humbled. It's all in the text, and it sounds easy enough to say, and I'm glad you highlighted it because it's hard enough to do. It's hard to do, right? If you think anything about yourself, it's difficult to be that vulnerable and be like, I don't know, right? And it's working out pretty good. It's working out pretty good. So I would say keep doing it.
100%, man.
Yeah.
It definitely is. So,
all right, let's roll.
Pivoting back to the two keys. So for the first one, stage one, it's understanding that you're one-on-one and believing that you're one-on-one. And I break down one of the verses in Matthew 9:29, and he was like, because of your faith, it'll happen. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like, if you don't believe you're one-on-one, that's how you're going to move. Because God said because of your faith. He didn't say because of his faith in you. And a lot of the times we be hoping that God believes in us more than we believe in us, but you have to believe in yourself as much as God believes in you. Like, you can't just be like, hey, God, like, I know you believe in me, but I don't. Like, that it doesn't work like that. So I'm like, because of your faith, it will happen. If you believe you're the answer, if you believe God called you to do this, if you believe that this is what he created you and put you on this earth for, you will move in that direction. So that was the two keys that I have in there, which is understanding that you one-on-one and believing that you're one-on-one. And obviously I got all these other bullet points and stuff, but I'm not going to go through that. So yeah, how does that sound for those two keys in that first step?
Yeah, I think it's strong. I mean, you backed it by, biblical context, which is always good because it's just principle and it stands on its own. And I think that's good.
Okay, perfect. And the next one for built not borrowed, I go through two keys of really understanding why it's borrowed, because everybody wants it to be built, but you need to understand why it's faulty first. I think that's people's problem. They like, oh, I need to build it. Well, you need to figure out why it was faulty to begin with, right? Because the Lord And I was going to talk to you more about this when we, obviously in a private call, but I'll bring it up. The Lord's making me rebuild my life right now, like rebuilding everything, my schedule, my routine, my eating habits, my sleeping habits, my friend, like everything is going away. Like throw it out the window. Like he was like, yo, I let you dibble dabble enough. Like we're done doing that. Throw it all out. Let's restart. So I'm restarting, right? And I was like doing this. The two keys that I put was locating your source of confidence, because you need to know what is bringing you to confidence. Like what is actually waking you up in the morning? Is it the job? Is it the money you're gonna get? Is it the likes you're gonna get? Is it the external factors? And then the second part was accepting what you can control, because a part of you not having confidence is because you can't control it. Like the reason I was in so much sin was because I can control sin. You can't control what God got for you, so you don't really trust it. You can control sin though. You know when you're going to sin, you know how you're going to sin, you know when you're going to do it with the person. So those two keys that I put in there was locating your source of confidence. And then the second thing is accepting what you can control, because confidence and control are best friends. They go hand in hand. You're only confident in what you can control, So I was like, I wanted to put those two keys in there, especially for aspiring business owners. Not having control of the next step or the outcome or all that is scary, but just accept what you can control. And that's the input. So I wanted to just make those the two main keys in that second stage.
Yeah, I think that's strong.
Yeah. So then for the third one, uprooting counter confidence. The first thing, I got two different areas, and the second area you influenced like crazy. I'm gonna get to it. So the first one is detoxing from comparison, because like you said, nobody can beat you at being you, and I think that is something that if the world just did, we would be in a whole better place. Like we would just be in 1,000% better place. So the first part was detoxing from comparison. And there was a lot of the quotes, and there were some things that you said in your YouTube videos and in the B&B community that I was taking and throwing into this and mixing it up. So I threw that into detoxing from comparison. And the second one is what you said on the family reunion day. You said it on the 5th day of the family reunion day of the Purpose to Profits. And it was keep your promises, like keep your word. Simple. Like forget about doing the business right now. Just make sure you're keeping your word, because when you get to a business, that's all you can do. Right. And that's what I'm learning, because when you were saying, you were like, man, you can't transition to get to the business if you're not keeping your word here. And you were like, the reason I was able to transition was because I was impeccable on this side. Right. And the Lord is teaching me right now, I thought I was ready for stage 2. The Lord is like, no, you need to go master stage 1. Stage 2 just looks good to you, but you won't maintain nothing on stage 2. And that's just the truth of the fact. A lot of the times, like you said, I remember, you were talking about how everybody wants to do things so fast. You're like, yo, it's not going to happen fast. Like, how long you been in the business game and you're still refining your tools? Like, you're still refining your skills. You're still learning. Like, mind you, you got staying. So you could be like, oh, man, I'm Gucci. I got to learn from the greatest minds. I'm working with the greatest people. You could be complacent, but you've kept your word. Like, you're not going to remain there. So I was like, the first thing I was doing.
Because here's the thing, bro. The more you learn how much you don't know.
Tell me about it.
You know what I'm saying? The more you learn how much you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's almost as if in Proverbs where it says the more wisdom I get, the more burdened I am.
100%.
Right? Because there's a cost to knowing.
Yeah.
And part of that cost is knowing how much you don't know. So it gives you this insatiable appetite to just keep wanting to know more. But then if you're not careful with the comparison being the thief of joy, then because you realize it keeps you in a vulnerable state, you always feel insecure.
Yeah.
Because you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is why in scripture also it talks about how the fool is the most dangerous person, because they don't know how foolish they are. So like when you are somebody that is a truth seeker and a knowledge seeker, you're always going to be in a place of vulnerability to some degree and insecurity, because you're always realizing how much more you don't know.
Yeah.
So then that's why you need the reminders when you have onboarding calls with 10 clients and hear them echo sentiments about reaffirming to you what you do know that made an impact. Because now that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's like over here. I got all of this I got to go learn. And it's like that but it's like that little bit is a lot of bit. It just seemed like a little bit to you because your capacity is stretching,
Yeah.
but that little bit in somebody else's capacity is busting them at the seams at the very same time. So it's yeah, that's back to that duality piece that I'm always talking about.
100%, man. And that blew my mind. I'm like, yo, why did I not think about that? Like, there's a heaven and a hell. There's this side of the. Anyways, that's just the wisdom God gave you. So I'm grateful He gave it to you. So yeah, the first one is detox and comparison. The second one is keeping your promises. But I went a little deeper in keeping your promises, and I was like, I gave two smaller reasons to that because people hear that but they don't know why. And I was like, you need to make sure you show up and keep your promises, because you won't be at the mercy of others, because that's a lot of the things that, like, in this world, we're at the mercy of social media likes, we're at the mercy of social media comments, we're at the mercy of instant gratification. So I'm like, when you show up for yourself, you won't be at the mercy of anything but God, literally. So, and He has the most mercy. So I was like, that was one. And two, it rewrites your old patterns. And I was just digging a little deeper. And I was saying, every time you act from a pattern, you create evidence. Every time you act from a pattern, you create evidence for your new identity. So I'm like, you have to act in a different pattern every single time and cultivate that one so you can create a new identity. And you're no longer thinking about change, you're just becoming it. Because a lot of people are just thinking, oh, I got to change this, I got to change that. Just do it. Like, that's the best way to change, is becoming the change. So in the keeping your promises, I just dug a little deeper. And like what you said, I took away, literally, it was the last line you said. You were like, if you want to just be successful in life in general, just keep your word. Like, keep your word and you'll be successful in life.
Yeah.
So that was for my
Best advice I got in my life as a 5-year-old, right? Like, I had no idea what that meant when my dad told me, but the older I get, for every decade that passed, I'm more appreciative of that wisdom that I got 30 something years ago. Shake a man hands firm, look him in his eye, and keep your word. Fundamentals, bro. That's a lost art today in society. That's really hurting society in a lot of ways.
100%.
And if you want to stand out from the crowd, just be impeccable with your word.
100%, man.
I'm as
And
simple as it is. And it ain't always easy to keep it, especially in business. Things are gonna happen that's outside of your control. But the way in which you still show up and handle those situations is still consistent with somebody with integrity that kept their word as much as they possibly could. You know what I mean?
100%.
And but it's I was watching a podcast with Travis Green and Tim Ross, and he
Mm,
was like, he was like, he was Travis Green was explaining to Tim Ross that he was at like a big pastoral convention with all the who's who, and he was like, and you know how they had convention talk, and he had kind of said it and kind of flippantly and kept talking, and Tim was like, wait, back up, what is convention talk? He's like, oh, that's when all the pastors get together and then they start talking about doing stuff together that they know they're never gonna do. Yeah, we call that
mm.
convention talk. So yeah, we just sit around and have convention talk. Everybody's saying a bunch of stuff that nobody means really what they're gonna say. That's the society we live in today, bro. It's a bunch of convention talk. People just say stuff that sound good in the moment that they got no intention on ever fulfilling. It's
Wow.
why I haven't outside of real estate is why I hadn't had any partnerships because I've just bro. If it's anything that I got to disdain about is that like you, because I don't do that, so I don't understand how you do that and it be normal and not be personal when you do that because you just lie. But people don't view it like that. They view it as convention talk. I don't do convention talk. That's why until David, I hadn't had a partner
Jeez.
because I don't know, nor do I want to learn how to coexist in that world. I'm not interested.
Man.
Wait till you get out here and start going to conferences and such, and you start running into your counterparts, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you on Monday. I'm hit, bro. Don't mean a word coming out of their mouth. Yeah, we gonna get together tomorrow, man. Yeah, look, we need to link, man. It's been too long. Never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like
100.
never gonna happen. And y'all just spent 13 minutes talking about it. It's never gonna happen.
Man. And it's funny because I'm experiencing that now, and I'm not even in business, like, for real. Like, I'm not even going to the conferences yet. People be like, oh yeah, bro, because I do music as well. So oh yeah, I'm gonna hit you with the music and all the business. I gotta DM you and see what's going on with that and how did you start that and how did you get this content going. I'm like, first things first, mind you, half of the time, like you said, people don't mean a word coming out their mouth. And another thing is, I look at other people's lifestyles and I'm like, you're not even doing that for yourself.
Yeah.
So I know you're not going to do that for me.
Yeah.
Simple, Like, and that's where I keep it at. I see a lot of people and they're like, oh man, I see you locked in. You're on social media doing this. I'm like, bro, social media does not prove anything. Anybody can make a video look good. Anybody. So I'm like, that don't mean that I'm locked in. I'm actually putting in the work. I'm actually in a community. I actually have a mentor that's holding me accountable. And that's one thing I realized.
By the way, that's the next one. When you start meeting all your social media heroes in person and you figure out that Santa Claus ain't real, it'll blow your mind.
Man.
It'll blow your mind, bro. It'll blow. It's like a masquerade party, like what you see on social media versus who they are in person.
Man, and I'm grateful because when I see your page, what's funny is like a lot of people will see the seriousness of your demeanor and run away. And that's what I believe usually happens. They're like, oh no, he's too serious about success. When was success ever easy? Like when was success ever just some nice bike ride in the park? Like, no, you better tooth and nail, blood, sweat, and tears. Paul said in sleeplessness often. And I know you had a lot of nights where it was in sleeplessness often. You was up all night, you working your tail off just to serve even more than you did the previous day. You know what I'm saying? So listen, man, I get it. I get it. Trust me. And that's why I'm just grateful that, you're the mentor that you are, because you're cultivating a seriousness in me. I just can't, like, foolishness is like, it's like you said, a disdain for it. Like I can't play around with my life. Like I can't, like, because before it was easy to do that. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm playing, I'm messing around with girls, I'm messing around life, I'm not taking things seriously. I came across you when the Lord started really giving me this vision. I was like, oh, I have like, the margin for error is slim. And I'm like, you investing time into me, I am not wasting it. I refuse to waste it. Like,
and I think that's a misconception of me, right? For the outside looking in. Once you get on the inside, right? I joke, I talk all kind of crazy stuff. I like hanging out, having a good cigar. I like going out on yachts. I love traveling. I'm not, but I am. But my wife and daughter would say I'm serious though, because I like. What else are we supposed to be doing right now other than what we're supposed to be doing? So you know what I mean? So that I just, what else am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
So like everything ain't kiki and ha. Everything is not, life is serious, bro. I mean, okay, if it wasn't, then why do we get up every morning and pray to God? If life wasn't serious, why would I need to talk to my creator every day? Let's just start with that. If that's a basic fundamental of life for most people, that I get up in the morning and I pray, then how could life not be serious? So then think about the adverse of that and those that wake up and wake and bake to start their day. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, just think about that for a second. Right? Or back when I was out of my mind and I would wake up chasing a hangover and getting the hanks off, taking a shot in the morning. Right? Like, bro, I ain't got no time to be playing around, man. Because God ain't playing.
At all.
I just saw a guy I went to elementary and middle school with yesterday, died, 41, cancer. Bro, I ain't got time to be playing around, man. I got stuff to do. That's why I had to tell my daughter, I'm like, when we're together, I'm not being morbid, but I'm not wasting time. Like, her and her mom may have more frivolous conversations than the job of a father is to further. I'm never confused about that every time that I'm talking to my daughter. So when we having an exchange, while yes is how you doing, and oh, cute, that's cute and this and that, but there's an exchange that if this was the last time we talked, like, I left you with something. In addition to all the other times, right? We stacking them up, right? Accumulated over the 22 years she's been on the planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything is serious, bro. Like, the people that's watching this right now ain't here. Yeah, there's gonna be entertaining moments, right? But they're here to learn something. If they invest in their time to be watching this video, it's to better their lives. So
Yeah,
everything is serious.
100%, man. 100%. And just pivoting back to this. So
Yeah. By the way, to your point, to that, for each the two subsets of each category,
yeah.
what's your plan to deliver that to your client? And when I say that, I mean, is that each one of those will be an individual live training that you would do with them? I don't know the horizon for how long the program, like, is 8 weeks or 12 weeks, or like what's your delivery system
Um,
for each module or each
that's
category?
a great question. So that's actually what I was going to talk to you more about. So the duration of it is 4 weeks, a 4 week program. Because there's 4 different stages. So I was like, I might as well do 4 weeks. Um, and and the thing is though, like I'm a nerd when it comes to learning something. Like I realize I'm a big nerd. Like just love information. So I wrote a lot of bullet points in between, but viewing the way y'all did the purpose, the profits, and how y'all broke so much stuff down in such a short amount of time, like but really like exegeting the most important things from it, I was
Hmm.
like, that's how I wanted to kind of lean towards doing this. Like for example, for my step 3, I have detox from comparison, keep your promises, and then the 2 little sub points in keep your promises. And it was going to be like, I was going to pull out the most important parts from detoxing your comparison and then just drive it home, but keeping your promises. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I was going to do it. But it was going to be 4 weeks. I was going to do a live Zoom call, same way that y'all did yours, and for the purpose to profits, live Zoom call. And I was going to just make it an hour, 30 minutes first half of what I want to talk about. It may be a little shorter depending on how much I really get to it, but just it's going to be an hour long, and I just go at it. I take out the parts that I really feel like the Lord wants me to drive home with them, and then whatever else the Lord wants me to give, or whatever other extra time I have, I'll give them a little more. But I was planning to do a live Zoom call, 1 hour each week, same time each week, and we just driving it home every single time we get on that call.
Okay, got it, and that's very well thought out. So what do you think the price point is going to be for this?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, man. I was going to do, and this is the thing. I asked somebody who's started. Well, it was my sister. I asked her, but she's just starting out business too. So she was saying to lower the price, because I had it at 1,500 for four
Hmm.
weeks,
Hmm.
because it's like eat 375 a week, or if I'm not, or whatever the price point is for that. But yeah, so I was doing 1,500 for 4 weeks. But I was gonna ask you what you thought, because I'm just starting out. I want to build trust. I want to build. So I was just like, what do you think for that?
What you would display this on a webinar to present to present the opportunity?
Yeah, because when you guys told me on Purpose to Profits, like you should uh, catapult this with a webinar, like that's how you should get it going. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, bet. So I was like, now I'm
Okay.
working on webinar and all that stuff. So
So if you're gonna use a webinar, then you could sell anything up to like 1997 on a webinar, up to 2000.
okay,
At the same time, because anything after this for everybody, right? If you're doing webinars, you shouldn't sell any products or services that are more than 1997. We've done a ton of research on this. Everything $2,000 or less converts better on a webinar. If you need to sell anything more expensive than that, then you need another mechanism to sell that, whether that be a book call, whether that be a challenge of some sort, like something else dovetailing off that webinar. Because it's a bigger ask, so it's a deeper dive. Okay. Given that though, um, I agree with your sister that I would probably lower the price initially.
yeah, I was thinking 1,000 to just start there.
I think 997 is strong to,
Yeah,
to to test it out, because even you could do a two pay option. So folks get paid bi-weekly if they still at work and they in this transition of becoming an entrepreneur. So it'd be like 500 this check, 500 next check. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think I think 997 with a two pay option would be strong.
okay, most definitely, and I could do that. And that's what I'm grateful for, because I was thinking about the price, and I'm like, I don't want to do something to where it scare them away, but I want to do something to where I still get my value from it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, 100%. Because here's why I like that approach. Because if you can get enough people in at the 997, you go through the training, you got proof of concept. You're gonna learn more while you're teaching them because they're gonna be giving you feedback that you didn't even think about.
100%.
And then you still got the option of taking that live training and doing two things with it. One, turning it into an ebook from the recordings. Secondly, turning into a course that you could sell on autopilot and then have enough framework from the delivery of that course to now create a program where you could go deeper for longer.
100%.
So now instead of offering a 4-week course, you could have a 6-month program that those pillars are the catalysts and the frameworks to the program. But now you can take them through a more transformative experience over a 6-month period, and go deeper and get them a bigger transformation, which will result in a bigger payoff.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great, and I'm definitely gonna do that. And then just to explain to you this last part,
Yeah.
the last step, because I have a question about the marketing of it after this.
Hmm.
So the fourth stage is the confidence blueprint. And the three areas I cover is having stillness in the storm. And the reason I did that, I was like, we need to learn how to master our inner world as we live in a loud one. I was like, that's why I was like, we need to have stillness in the storm. And I did a little bit extra work and did some Bible studies, and the Greek translation to still means to let go, to relax, or to withdraw. And I was like, we need to withdraw and let go of the loud world that we live in and just go back and be still with God. Like have stillness, remember who you are, stand on your core values and have that stillness. So that was the first step. The second one was critic to champion, and that's the title of that. And I was saying your inner dialogue is the script for success. And it says in Proverbs 23:7, it says, "For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." So I was like, what are you telling yourself? Like, what are you telling yourself when nobody's around? How do you talk to yourself when you wake up first thing in the morning? What do you tell yourself when you're making a business move, when you're doing this next step? Like, are you telling yourself, I'm never going to be it? Because it says, because of your faith, it'll happen. So if you're telling yourself no, that is what it'll happen. Like Jesus said that, you know? So I was like, that was my second one. And I was like, you talk to yourself the most, more than anybody. So I'm like, you need to make sure your script that you're telling yourself is success only. Yes, you can convict yourself. Yes, you can say, okay, I'm not that good at this, but you can't identify yourself by that. So I wanted to really go into that because especially in our age, from that 18 to 30 range, we identify ourselves too much to our past. You know what I'm saying? Or failures that we've had. I remember you were talking about we need to give ourselves grace for our life and for our past that we happened, and then we need to hold ourselves more accountable for our future. So I was like, I really wanted to hone in on that because I think that's something that my age group needs to really master in order to take these steps to be successful.
Yeah, and I think something coupled with that is for your age group,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know where this plays in, maybe here, maybe in another part, but I think it's going to be of uber importance for you to tackle identity shaming from parents,
Mm.
teachers. They still are wearing that stench of all the naysayers at that age group, 18 to 30. You still wearing residue from that.
100%.
So I think it's important to tackle that in one of those pillars somehow.
You know what I want to do? I want to copy what you did for the family reunion and give them that extra day.
Hmm.
Be like, hey, y'all. Because I feel like that's what's going to drive it home, not only for the offer that I'm going to present, but it's going to drive it home for the value that they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? And the transformation they'll really experience, they, regardless if they buy it or not. I think that'll just drive it home for them to be like, nah, my life was transformed because that's what I had to shake out of. All the coaches that told me no, all the teachers that told me no, all the time my mom was like, what are you doing with your life? All the friends that told me, what am I doing with my life? Like there was a stench to that as I was making this transition to be in business. Even now I hear people like, yo, so what are you doing? I'm like, you just can't see it yet. That don't mean ain't nothing
Yeah.
happening, you know?
So,
So
but wait a minute. Before you say that though, I just want
yeah,
to make sure I'm clear about something.
yeah.
the last point you described, you said was to help them have better conversations with themselves when they buy themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, that was my second point. My third point, I was gonna ask you about this because it was um my third step was more rooted in the Bible, and not everybody may be rooted in the Bible. That's why I
Okay,
was
got
should
you.
I was gonna ask you if I should put this part that you're talking about right now, wearing that stench, as my third part, because my third part originally was called Rooted in the Word and Unshaken by the World. But not everybody is, gonna be biblical that I'm gonna be working with. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
should I go to
yeah.
that route instead?
So for personally, I feel like the second one that you mentioned, where you were talking about,
Critic to champion, what I was talking about.
yeah, to me, for your avatar,
Yes.
if it were my avatar, right, I would lean more on the side of what you reference because your avatar is younger. They're dealing with a different set of
Criticism.
criticism
Yes,
that's
100.
still lingering, that's having a traumatic impact on their decision making in this infancy
Mm,
stages of becoming business owners.
okay.
My people, my avatar now is like from 35 to 60.
Yeah.
So these people are dealing with more, they've had decades of failure and they got all kind of stuff that they got to go backwards and overcome to become
Yeah.
the new person they need to at 50, 60 years old and showing
Yeah.
up for themselves. So
Yeah.
based on who your avatar is, I think that pain point resonates more if you speak to more of the adolescence and all of those things.
Should I do and that's great. That I'm glad you said that because I really was that critic part was hitting me a little different. So I'm glad you was able to highlight that. Should I do because I have the critic to champion for yourself? Should I have that third one where it's like I'm just addressing all that other external factors of criticism, or should I tie that into the same thing of self talk? Like, should I have that last stage of just talking with the external factors as a separate one?
I think you have to address the external if you're going to coach them on the internal
100%. Okay.
because the external has sowed the seeds that make them feel how they do internally.
Perfect. So I'll do that's perfect that you said that. So I'm gonna have the stillness in the storm, and then the second one will be the all the external factors, and then the third one will be critic the champion, talking to yourself better.
Yeah, 100%. I like
Yeah,
that flow.
perfect, perfect. And then my last thing will be now, besides, I'm gonna work on my transformation titles. Um, I'm working on my webinar right now. So for next week, we're gonna get more into the webinar and talk more
Okay.
about that. Study the video on your page, the 5 things to avoid when doing the webinar. I'm gonna go and study that and stuff and all that. But I wanted to ask, should I start marketing this? Should I start like talking about these in my next videos coming up? Like start hitting and keying like if you like how you said closing them from the opening. Like should I
Mhm.
start doing that in my videos and stuff?
Yeah, I would start teasing. So for each one of those pillars,
Yeah,
I would probably write out 5 video ideas for each one.
bet.
And then each day I would just drop a new video on one of the 4 of those pillars of those 20 video titles that you come up with and just
Mm,
start dropping it out there and seeing how they respond to it.
bet. Yes, that's so perfect.
Because you got good organic reach on your social platforms right now. So I would just start teasing these topics out there and seeing which ones hit. And then
Bet.
that'll give you a gauge on how to double down and maybe one you need to spend more emphasis on than others within the program, all the rest of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it. If whoever's watching this, y'all better love the fact that God put Brian on this earth. All right, y'all better appreciate the time that this man is here. Y'all like y'all don't know value when y'all see it, man. I know value, bro, because he just set me free from a world full of worry, a world full of you guys. And I'm gonna make this point before you obviously pivot and if you want to close it out, but you guys, whoever's watching this, you guys need to understand there's a difference between the Lord wanting you to experience something and the Lord saving you from experiencing something.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
that's
Because a
true.
lot of the times, we are so caught up in what we want to do, and the Lord is trying to save us from it, man. He's trying to save us from 40 years in the wilderness. He doesn't want us to be there for 40 years, but we are like the Israelites and stay there. I'm sitting in front of someone who is helping me only experience 11 days in the wilderness. There's a difference. But if y'all don't discern that, you will stay in the wilderness, be mad at God, see generations die, never get to the promised land, and only think about what the promised land could be, instead of just taking what the Lord put right in front of you, because God loves hiding in plain sight. Everything God created is in plain sight. So right now, y'all think, oh, and that's just my nature of me being praised. My name is praised, so I'm gonna obviously do that. But there's a different level when you discern when God is trying to save you from experiencing something that will kill your identity, that will make you live in a life full of recovery. Because a lot of people that's watching this are living lives full of recovery. You ain't never recovered from the last season. You just keep doing the same mistake and recover, the same mistake and recover, instead of just listening to the person who made the mistake and recovered, so you don't have to make that same mistake. Like like, come on, like. But sorry, I was stirred right there, and yeah.
This is why I'm laughing. Ryan said, I'm watching Moses and Aaron right now. That's crazy.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. It's a
No,
discern.
no, I appreciate you, bro, and they do need to hear that. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, most times, people don't appreciate free,
What?
right?
Ever.
So, and not because it's their fault necessarily, but because where your treasury is, there will your heart be also. It's scripture. So when you invest in yourself, then you have a different level of appreciation, because the scripture is saying that where your treasury is, so your heart will be also. Where we put our money is indicative of where our heart is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we put our money in an investment, then our heart is in that, right? When we
Yeah.
don't put our money in it, the chances are our heart isn't in it. So sometimes it's hard for us to appreciate value when we didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
So whether or not they watch this and follow exactly what I'm telling you so that you can go out and have multiple six figures, even seven figures once you scale it, then that's on them. If they really look at this as some aberration and we just sitting up here having fun right now, then that's on them. But I can
Yeah.
promise you that now that we've crafted the offer, we've figured out pricing. Next week we're gonna talk about the distribution of it, which will be the webinar mechanism and how to put that together.
Yeah.
And and in the next 3 to 4 weeks, as we get through this process and you run your first webinar, you'll be coming back on here reporting that you're making thousands of dollars a week from an hour and a half worth of work on a webinar. That's just the
100%.
reality of it. Now, if they follow what I'm telling you, then they could go do it too, but or not. But they can't say we didn't do it, because right now I'm here, and they happen to listen in on the conversation that we will have anyway.
1000%, man. And I just appreciate you. You're gonna hear from me until until the time run out, man. I appreciate
I'm
it.
looking forward to it. I'm looking
Because
forward
yeah,
to it.
man, like literally what you said, in the next 3-4 weeks, I told myself, like, we gonna put this work in. We gonna be what I'm teaching. We gonna make sure that I'm not living a double life and really deliver. Like, you are delivering. You are an executor. When you said you were an executor in your introduction to believers in business, I was like, the Lord put me right where I needed to be. I
Yeah,
needed to be in
yeah,
front of an executor.
yeah. No,
So
I
he
am
said,
that. Now I may make some mistakes, but not executing won't be the mistake I make. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That I ain't got that
exactly.
problem.
Yeah,
That's a problem I don't have in life. I get a play, I'm running it. Uncomfortable, unsure, unclear. I'm running the play. I'm an executor for sure.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, B.
Well, y'all got us for 11 extra minutes today. I'm keeping my eye on y'all. No, great. Hey, look, man, I appreciate you always showing up prepared, ready to go. Your preparation helps this conversation be more fruitful.
Yes,
And for
sir.
those that's watching it, go back, share this with a friend, somebody trying to build a coaching or consulting business. I promise you, it seemed laissez-faire the way I'm delivering this to praise, but the stuff that I'm telling him, when he applies it, he's about to start printing money. And it's no respecter of person. If you apply it, so will you. Until next time, folks, make sure y'all let us know in the comments if y'all, if something specifically y'all want us to cover. And don't be shy. I know y'all been making comments. I've been trying to respond back, but if y'all got questions, also put those in the comments in the chat as well. And we see y'all in a week, man. Y'all have a great one.
Sir.
All right.